Fadi Afsana. Again, I am conducting as a chairperson of the second session of this today's program. We shall hear from Dr. Firuz Amin. Dr. Firuz Amin is my colleague also. He is working as a associate professor at Bardem Hospital. He is a rising star in the field of endocrinology. I always enjoy his topics and presentation all the time. As usual, probably we shall all or we can enjoy his program today. He will speak on the newer injectable molecules and technology in the management of diabetes mellitus. As you know, the day by day, we have the newer concept in the management of diabetes on the basis of the evidences and data we have already heard and the pathophysiological and natural process of diabetes. Also, we also need to reach our target. To reach our target, there is lots of barrier and inconvenience are there. To address the issue, different organization, pharmaceutical companies, pharma industries try to formulate, innovate newer injectable agents, newer oral agents, and as well as technology to improve the barrier, to overcome the barrier on the management of diabetes, particularly adherence, compliance, and cost effectiveness. May I request Dr. Firuz Amin to start his deliberation about the near injectable molecule and the technology in the management of type 2 diabetes patient. Dr. Firuz Amin, please.
Thank you, sir, for nice introduction, and thank you very much, and especially uh, uh, thanks to organizer for giving me the opportunity to talk something this Bardem virtual conference, first time happening in Bangladesh, and I really enjoyed the session the last days and also the first lecture. Now I'll tell something about newer injectable molecules and technology. So why we need the newer, in fact, injectable molecules and technology? Because as you know that the since the invention of the insulin in 1921, lots of advance has been going on in the field of diabetes mellitus, including the oral hypoglycemic agent, also the injectable molecules. So many things has been invented. Still, what we see that in our day-to-day management, that patients are developing the frequent hypoglycemia, nocturnal hypoglycemia, and diabetes is still not well controlled. Patient developing diabetic ketoacidosis. So the diabetologists, endocrinologists, also scientists are always focusing for the better management of our diabetes by invention of newer technology. And what Professor Farooq Pathan sir has been told in the first lecture that our A1C should be always individualized. So one A1C fit for me may not fit for another person in 20 years of age or another person of 70 years of age. So for the achievement of this individual A1C, there must be some sort of newer method and comfortable method so that 20 years of age of patient, they can enjoy their diabetes management. Also the 70 years of age patient can enjoy the diabetes management. And glycemic variability, what also for potential has been shown in the slide that 24 hours there is should be less glycemic variability that cannot be answered by the HbA1c, that must be done by CGM. So we also then focus should be less glycemic variability. And another thing is very much important, whatever we give treatment to our diabetes patient, in the course of the time what we see that our patients are not following our treatment after 1 or 2 months. So the patient compliance is very much important. You have to give the good compliance, the drug we are giving, and patient must be comfortable with this management. So I have 2 parts in my lecture today, as the heading shows, that newer injectable molecules, and next part should be the diabetes technology. What exactly happening in the world in diabetes technology, I want to make focus, and this is really interesting. So let's come to newer injectable molecule. That is also 2 parts, the insulin, and another one is the GLP-1 analog. As we know that after the conventional insulin, the short-acting conventional insulin, there is analog insulin in the market, and in the analog insulin, the bolus insulin, the insulin aspart, and insulin glucagon, and the Lispo in the market, also the long-chain analog in the market. So nowadays, another insulin in the market in our country also, there is a fast-acting insulin aspart. What is the fast-acting insulin aspart? This is a very new ultra-fast-acting mealtime insulin. So that can be used both for the type 1 and type 2 diabetes patient. And you can easily just start your food by giving the insulin. And so that is the beauty of the insulin. What we see that conventional insulin, you have to wait for the 30 minutes. Even the aspart insulin or glucagon is we have to wait for 5 to 10 minutes. But here you don't need to wait for just give the shot the insulin and have your food. So what we see that some of our patients used to take more carbohydrate food. Some of our patients have basic problem in the phosphate insulin secretion. So there shows sudden rise of blood sugar level just after taking food. In that case, fast-acting insulin will be a very good answer for their day-to-day diabetes management. What has been done in this preparation that one insulin absorption modifier has been added, that is vitamin B3 in this insulin aspart, and for the stability purpose, L-arginine has been added. So for this function, what we see that the insulin becomes rapidly absorbed in our circulation after subcutaneous dose and also better glycemic status. So what we see, if you compare to the previously insulin aspart and human insulin, that you have to give the human insulin at least 30 minutes before. And what we see, the still after 30 minutes, the insulin is not in the circulation, not so much, but insulin aspart in the circulation. But whenever we compare the faster aspart with the insulin aspart, that shows that even the faster aspart, just after giving the insulin in the circulation and after 30 minutes, there is a already insulin in your in the patient circulation. So patients taking the food and that has been absorbed from the GIT just after within 20 to 30 minutes. You are giving your patient by conventional insulin, even the aspart insulin, but by giving the Fiaz insulin, that goes the good glycemic control, especially in the first 1 hour. So fast-acting insulin also so many data already in the world. So we know that that can be easily given in the elderly patient. We also know that that can be given in the pediatric patient. We also know that can be given even in the pregnancy. And we also know that that patient can also, this insulin can be used in the breastfeeding mother also. So there is a all area of our insulin management. As you know that fast-acting insulin can give the well and good glycemic management. Your patient, especially those patients, those who are developing postprandial hypoglycemia, even the postprandial hyperglycemia, in both situations, that insulin can be easily given to your patient. If then come to long-acting insulin, as you know, insulin degludec already in the market and insulin glargine 300 is also in the market. And what we see that insulin degludec that can cover the 24 hours even in the circulation, and insulin glargine, if you complete the 100, that is also even in the circulation for the long time, for the 24 hours, that cover the glucose also, that cover the blood glucose level. So these long-acting insulin already in Bangladesh, also in the world. We are happy that the latest insulin already in our country, these two very beautiful insulin for the day-to-day diabetes management. Then part to the GLP-1 analog, what we know that already liraglutide in our market for the long before 5 to 6 years, but new GLP-1 analog already in the pipeline day to day, because what we learned from the Professor Farooq Pathan's lecture, that if you want to make your patient complication free, especially cardiovascular point of view, you have to introduce management in such a way so that patient not only able to control blood sugar level, can also reduce the cardiovascular outcome. In that point of view, what Farooq Pathan sir has been shown, the true drug is very much promising. One is SGLT2 and another was GLP-1 analog. So already there are so many studies in the world. We know that GLP-1 analog that can reverse our cardiovascular outcome. What we see that normally most of our patients are died because of the cardiovascular disease. So these are the drugs. Lixacenate already in the market, European market offers a once daily injection, and new drugs, especially the GLP-1 analog. What we see the liraglutide you have to give daily, but new drug like albiglutide and dulaglutide already in the Bangladesh, the extended release in the exenatide, semaglutide, all these drugs can be given just once a week. So you can getting the benefit of GLP-1 analog whenever you are giving the liraglutide daily, but by giving this shot of the drug, you can easily extend your patient diabetes control for the 7 days. So what does the dulaglutide? You know that there's a very interesting, if you see that there is a immunoglobulin IgG4. So there's a two part. One part, as you know, that FC portion, another part is the antigen antibody binding portion. The antigen antibody binding portion has been removed from the IgG4 and two GLP-1 analog by a linker which attached to the IgG4. So what is happening? And another has been modification has been made. As you know, the GLP-1 analog has been destruction by the GDD4 in our circulation. So there's a alanine in the position 8 with glycine that replaced. So ultimately that becomes the resistance to GDD4 degradation. So in dulaglutide, you add alanine and remove the glycine, replace the alanine. So ultimately that becomes resistant to GDD4 degradation, and you have to fuse to GLP-1 and one linker, so that becomes more stable. So ultimately, good glycemic control that can extend for the 7 days in your body. So these are the drugs. You know that semaglutide, that preparation is a once weekly preparation from Novo Nordisk, and also they are making the another. This semaglutide is also they are trying to the oral format. So that ultimately in coming future we can also make our patient relief from injectable. So these sorts of insulin GLP-1 analog in our circulation. Liraglutide has been trial with the LEADER trial, semaglutide the SUSTAIN trial, and elbiglutide the HARMONY trial, and dulaglutide REON trial. All these trial has been proven benefit for the cardiovascular point of view. So you can prescribe any GLP-1 analog from your point of view, and you can know. You now know that this GLP-1 analog can prevent cardiovascular outcome. So from what we have discussed of the injectable molecule, so Fiaz insulin already in our circulation in our Bangladesh, and another is once weekly GLP-1 analog, Trulicity known as dulaglutide, also in our Bangladesh. Next, come to our point about the diabetes technology. So what is the diabetes technology? So diabetes technology is a term used to describe the hardware and device, and also the software by which the patient can manage their diabetes and improve their lifestyle, and it's a very good glucose control. So this is called the diabetes technology, and most recently diabetes technology has expanded to include the hybrid device, so that can monitor your glucose as well in our circulation. Not only monitor the glucose, they can deliver the insulin automatically, and also they have a software that can adjust the dose on your blood sugar level, and they can recommend one insulin dose, so that can help your patient self-management support. So huge technology development in our patient's point of view. Also from our point of view, the patients become very much comfortable to using this technology if they can afford to provide. So one very important thing that as you are giving the data in the online, that there is always becomes a very conscious about the security and privacy. So we know that lots of people in the world, they are very much always afraid of the data security. So that's why US Health Insurance Portability and Economy, they make one act in 1996, and they every company, those who are going to the online data, they have to follow this criterion. Already some of the cloud-based data collection as a Tadpool and Goko and others, so they appropriately they provide a data security feature. So from patient's point of view, from the security point of view, from the privacy point of view, now these are become very much important in case of the diabetes technology. And what is the recommendation? The recommendation was like this, that should be individualized, because what I may think that this is good for my patient, but you must understand that you cannot force your patient to use this device, because that must individualize and patient's needs, and also desire. There's a very important, if the patient wishes, they use the technology, and skill level, that is the important, because you know that this technology needs some sorts of brainstorming, so you have to need the skill level and also the availability device, whether the device is available in your society, in your country, in your area, may be available in the Dhaka, may not be available in the Noakhali. So that is the very important availability of the device. And Diabetes Voice and Organization, there is a one online organization developed from the ADA, and they provide proper online data, and there is some questions over there, some video over there, so patients easily go there and they can find out which device is good for them and which device they can continue to use. So let's talk something about the first one, the self-monitoring of the blood glucose, the glucometer. We're already very much familiar with the glucometer, we know that. So we always afraid of the glucometer's accuracy, but because our patients lots of coming to us and they are telling, sir, you are telling to check my blood sugar level in glucometer. I check it in here, it becomes 20, but whenever I go to the in my market area, I found it is 14. So they are always asking to me, or you also, about the accuracy. So not only we are concerned about the accuracy, also that FDA and lots of organizations are doing for the better management of glucose. So let's talk something the scientific. Currently available glucose monitors utilize an enzymatic reaction linked to the electrochemical reaction. There is two methods: the glucose oxidase methods and glucose dehydrogenase methods. So in our country, in fact, both two strips are available. That is the glucose oxidase method is available, and also glucose dehydrogenase method using the strip is also available. What we know that the glucose oxidase monitor are sensitive to oxygen. So that whenever we using the capillary blood for this glucometer, so that is may show the normal liquid in the normal oxygen saturation. But whenever there is a higher oxygen tension, because patient in oxygen therapy, that may shows the false low glucose reading. And also in the high altitude, like the hypoxia or the venous blood, they may lead to the false high glucose readings. So patient in the ICU setting, if you use the insulin glucometer, the glucose oxidase monitor, and patients with oxygen therapy for the bronchial asthma or any other things, so if you go this glucometer, that may shows the false low report, even the so that is a very important. You have to know that which glucometer you are using, and that glucometer, if you just read your put out some instruction paper given in the glucometer box to find out whether your glucometer is glucose oxidase methods or glucose dehydrogenase method, because you know that glucose dehydrogenase monitor are not sensitive to oxygen. So that is the one of the way you can easily got the answer. Another thing is the temperature, because very important in high temperature, and if you continuously open your strip and close your strip, putting your strip in the air for the long time, that may give your false or high report if the strip the enzymatic glucose oxidase are given in the method. So there is a few other substance that can interfere the glucose reading. Which was done? That is uric acid, galactose, xylase, L-dopa, ascorbic acid, acetaminophen. So this is not very much important for our daily practice unless the patient is admitted in the hospital or the patient admitted in the ICU setting. And another important, glucose dehydrogenase monitor is only make your problem when the patient is the peritoneal dialysis. So in our country, very few patients in the peritoneal dialysis, so we are not worried about this one. So better, so in any ICU setting, any other things, glucose dehydrogenase monitor should be used to our patients. And for the meter standard, the US Food and Drug FDA had some guidance that they always put some surveillance in the America, and they always give the online update whether you go and to find out the exact meter you want to use. So if you see that I have taken some picture, just copy from their site. What we say that they already some seat of aptitude, yes, and those who doesn't recommend life is scan, no. So that is they have to put the fail in the past. So that is a very important. So you know that you're giving the advice the glucometer to your patient, and your patient want to know which glucometer is the best, and you have some surveillance area. in our country. So you have to always update up to date in the online. So as a patient, as a physician, I have to go there and find out whether my patient is using the right glucometer. So it is a right of the every patient to know that whether he is buying the glucometer from the market, that glucometer exactly showing the standard of the managing our diabetes patient. So that is a very important. So let's come to more of the glucometer, because we always after of the pain. And so nowadays there is so many glucometer that can advise with the no pain. So there is one is stick-free glucose testing. Which one? This one, Freestyle Libra. That's already available US and Canada and Europe. What they do, there is some strap attached in here. So and a small sensor patch, and ultimately that can give you data up to 14 days, and you just put some radar over the strap. You can easily, the machine will read the report of the glucometer. So there is a no everyday pricking. Now we are telling the check the blood sugar level, fasting after breakfast, before lunch, after lunch, before dinner, after dinner, 6 times a shot. Sometimes we are tell 2 times. Even if the 1 times patient are not really worried about the check, now the Freestyle Libra that can support after 14 days. Another one is a glucotrack that is developed by the Israel. They are putting some device in the ear lobule, and putting the ear level that can data collection of blood sugar level by the ultrasonography, electromagnetic thermal wave. So there is another way that they are already recommended in their area and approved by the Europe by the type 2 diabetes mellitus. So they're known as there's typically the glucotrack. So Freestyle Libra and glucotrack. So another is Eversense. This is very interesting. There's already approved in 2018, and is from the Roche. What is the Eversense? That is Sensius Eversense subcutaneous implant that can give the data of the 3 months. So huge. You don't need to go for the day-to-day diabetes checkup. You put the sensor in the subcutaneous implant. You can easily do it even in the outdoor setting, and that give you data for the 3 months. And now they are trying to develop this longer, more than 6 months. So there's a huge benefit for the patient's point of view, and that data can send to the transmitter that displays in the glucose levels in the real time. So you can even go there, even online. Data can go the online on your mobile data. So you put the just implant in your skin and you get it. That is very interesting. Another one is the GlucoWise. What is the GlucoWise? And that is a GlucoWise. Just you just put the sensor either the earlobe or the skin between the thumb and forefinger, and that also can read your blood sugar level by some ultra wave, and give you the data. You can also put the data in the also in the mobile phone. So another one is Novisense. Novisense is quite interesting. There's a phase 2 trial, and maybe in the market very soon. There's a Dutch startup working the glucose sensor that is placed under your eyelid. So put your eyelid, and where you can just 2 centimeter length, then they can read your from the tear cell. They can collect the blood sugar level, and ultimately they can give the data in the some device and even the mobile app, so you can read your patient blood sugar level. Novisense. Another one is the GlucoSense, and there's a laser technology that's spin out University Leeds UK that's developing laser technology to monitor glucose level, and that's nano engineered glass that fluoresces when stimulated with a low power laser. So put this glass in the user finger skin, so easily they collect the data within 30 seconds. The GlucoSense also in the some of the countries using. Another is Sugar Bit, and that is just replaceable skill patch that's already approved by the EMA, and that can the data every 5 minutes. So there's a lots of technology that provide free without pain-free blood sugar level. Out of this, the Freestyle Libra is very much promising and already in the very much popular. Another one is the Nosense. That is a can give you the data for the 3 months period, and now they're trying to data blood sugar monitoring for the 6 months. So this is very important. The next comes to another technology that is a continuous glucose monitoring device. Basically, there's 2 types of CGM device. One is unblinded data, and the blinded data. What is the unblinded data? And what is the blinded data? Let's see. The real-time CGM system that measures glucose levels continuously and provide the user automated alerts at the specific glucose level or change in glucose. So this real-time CGM, the continuously they are giving the blood sugar level and give the alarm, and the patient can know the blood sugar level, what is ups and down in other things. And intravenous scan CGM is that measure glucose level continuously, but only display glucose value when switched by reader or smartphone that reveal the glucose level. So the CGM is continuous monitoring, but that cannot give any signal. But whenever you just want to wish to check, then you easily find it. So what is the blinded CGM? The blinded CGM is available in our country. That's this CGM device that measure glucose level that are not displayed to the patient in real time. These devices are generally initiated clinic using a reader that is owned by the clinic, and they removed from the period of time after 20 to 14 days, and they analyze and give the report to the patients. So these are blinded. So an unblinded CGM is the most preferable. And so whenever the blinded CGM as the data has been stored in your machine, you put the data, put in the computer, the download is. But whenever the blind, but in case of the real-time CGM, what you do, you just on continuous checking, you just open the machine and you find the report. So there is the two ways of two types of CGM. In another way, the recommendation of CGM, that is that very important that whether patients can able to afford this one, and you need a very important robust diabetes education. Why the Professor Jafar Ahmad Latif sir telling that the diabetic education is very much important, and if you don't give the diabetes education training and support in any area of your diabetic field management, even the patient can afford to buy the CGM, can have so much knowledge, but even by not giving the robust diabetes education, this CGM also going to fail. So that is a very important that those who have can able to maintain their can continue. There is a robust diabetic education. Insulin pump is been used for the more than 40 years in the US, and also you know that insulin pump also available in our country. What you know that HbA1c might be 7, but your patient blood sugar level may be ups and down. One patient one two. So there's a continuous ups and down glucose variability. So now we know that by these ups and downs, that can cause some other complications. So HbA1c, not only that give the answer, also you need to some CGM to monitor to check the blood sugar level. So that's why the CGM in the market. Now the combined insulin pump and sensor system, the sensor augmented pumps that can important is that that insulin giving the continuous insulin in the circulation, and whenever there is a blood sugar is low, that insulin pump just stop giving the basal insulin. So the patient will not develop the hypoglycemia. So that is very important for the children. That is very important. Those are the group that the patient go for the playing. Those are the patient go for the exercise. So also in our type 2 diabetes patient, those are very busy life, forget to take their food. So combined insulin pump and sensor system already FDA approved. And automated insulin delivery system that can just like the physiological insulin delivery. They have one insulin pump and one continuous glucose sensor, and also algorithm that can determine the rate of the insulin delivery, and so that the patient are free from develop the hypoglycemia, especially exercise related hypoglycemia. But what the true is that this closed loop system though look like truly automated, but the things that sometimes you have to put some maneuver to give the bolus insulin, and so that is the one problem in some of the machine. So these are the one sensor that's put in the stomach, and that can read the blood sugar level. And the Freestyle Libre, there's a fast CGM system that do not require the finger strip, as we already discussed. And to get the blood sugar number, that the patient just wave the reader over the sensor, and ultimately that newest version that can support up to 14 days. Another one is a Dexcom G6, and approved already by the CGM FDA, and that is give the automated insulin dosing system. And in January 2020, just this year, the Tandem Diabetes Care launch is T-Slim X2 insulin pump with Control IQ technology, which combines the Dexcom G6 CGM with insulin pump to regulate the insulin level with little user. That is very important is in the sense that the patient, that this device can give it a continuous insulin level. Whenever the blood sugar level come down, that will stop the insulin release, and still the blood sugar coming down in alarming stage. There's a one also pattern for the glucagon that will increase the secretion of the glucagon, and whenever the blood sugar level again up, that stop the glucagon secretion and again starting the insulin secretion. So it's just like the artificial pancreas. There's a very important and is a very promising in our diabetes patient. Their machine is just like T Slim X2 insulin pump. So the future of the insulin pump is the automated closed loop system, and ultimately, what I already discussed, they're already in the market. In the coming future, we hope this Bangladesh Diabetic Committee also will provide this pump in our country also, and patient can get the benefit from this insulin pump. And we have lots of pediatric patient, also geriatric patient, they can easily benefit for this of the pump. And Medtronic Minimed 670, this first hybrid closed loop system, very promising, that can also that support closed loop system. And another one is Beta Bionics in the fastly full automated bionic pancreas, just like the giving the insulin, give the glucose, and just like a balance, so your patient will not develop the hyperglycemia, even not the hyperglycemia. So these are already I discussed that this FDA approved the Dexcom G6, that's a glucose sensor, and also the insulin pump for your patient closed loop system. There's a one touch screen here, there, glucose prediction, auto insulin shot, resume, basal adjustment, auto correction, mobile app, and now it's recommended for the use of more than 14 years. Now come to the at the end of my discussion, the insulin, going to discussion, the insulin delivery is very much important. The insulin syringe, we know that our patients are taking, and some of the patient have the insulin pen. The benefit of the insulin pen, because we know that is a combined with the vial and syringe, the disposable pens have some disposable insulin cartridge, and some of the reusable pens have the memory function. They can easily just recall the dose, amount, timing. Smart pens that can program to calculate insulin dose and provide down-to-earth data reports. So there's another one is smart pen. So one is a memory function, one is a smart pen, and also this newer insulin can also give the 0.5 unit insulin, that is very much important for our pediatric patient. So another insulin delivery option is just like a patch-like device. That is the insulin continuously given there, like the basal insulin, and whenever you need the bolus, you just push over the over the patch, then that will give the bolus insulin. That is another is a very promising. That is known as Vigo. That is the Vigo. Let's see the Vigo. Just put it over here. And this Vigo is 24-hour small disposable mechanical device, easy to use, and it is just like a patch over the skin and easily delivered both steady, continuous subcutaneous infusion and 24 hours and mealtime insulin dose at the demand. So just see that's like. So another one is a smart pen. There's a smart pen is offers a memory compatible palm without tethering. You can device that can easily store the data in here, and you can easily give the insulin if you just use the comfortable with the pen. So first FDA approved the smart insulin pen that in 2017, and another one is the NovoPen Eco. That is a function of just like you can half dose, short button distance to reduce the insulin movement, and customize pen scheme with the 12 patterns to choose from, and number of the insulin last inject that can be shown in here, and another is the memory function. So another is very important. That is Kiko pen. Just I found very interesting. Let's see small video over there. Kiko video. So this is the first insulin. Now we are in the Kiko pen, but it's the first insulin. This is the first pump. So with this, before conclusion, that I am to say that diabetes technology, when coupled with education and follow-up, can improve the lives and health of the people. So only that technology is not the answer. You have to give the proper education, and not only education, you have to give the proper follow-up and to your patient. And it is a complex, no doubt, but you have to know this technology, and you have to give your patient proper support so that that patient can be benefited on this. So with this, thank you very much. Thank you all.
After the